Hello everyone, welcome back to 999. We do not need to see this cutscene actually. Here we go. This is what I want, the menu. Alright, so apparently I don't, according to someone in the Discord, apparently I don't actually need to do a lot of these things. I don't need to redo like everything. Apparently if we click on just the places, you know, the escapes where we have this like little key, apparently I don't even have to redo all the puzzles. Apparently it'll ask me to skip to certain bits of dialogue that I'm guessing influence this decision down here. So let's give it a try really quickly. Map of the ship, match, plate on the shelf, picture of a dog. So you can skip to very, very specific instances. I don't know which one of these actually change things. But we will see. We will see. I'm guessing there's a decision I have to make differently along the line here. To have things happen. So we'll see. We'll see. And if I notice anything different, I'll be sure to show that. Ah, okay, here we go. So here's a different decision. Do you think this boat is the actual Titanic?
本物のタイタニック?
Yeah.
それってひょっとしてタイムスリップしたってことですか?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
船が沈む前の1912年4月14日よりも前。は? 何言ってんだお前。あれ違いました?
Yeah, sorry June. Sorry, that's not exactly what I meant.
違う。全然違う。タイムスリップなんてあるわけないだろ?
I mean, that would be pretty cool.
俺が言いたかったのは、タイタニック沈没にまつわる陰謀説のことだ。
陰謀説? 何ですかそれ?
知らないか? 結構有名な話だぞ。
Okay, so we are getting different context here about the whole Titanic thing.
タイタニック号には、外観も内装も瓜二つの姉妹船、オリンピック号という船が存在してたな。
あ、それなら知ってます。確か、オリンピック号は、何度も事故を起こしている欠陥船で、船主の会社はその船の処分に困ってたんですよね。そこでその会社は、欠陥船であるオリンピック号を、新たに作られたタイタニック号であるかのように偽装して、恋に沈めたとか、なんとか。
そうだ。莫大な保険金をかけた上でな。
Huge insurance policy, you say?
だとすると、本物のタイタニック号は沈没していなかったことになりますよね。
ああ。2隻はすり替えられたんだ。本物のタイタニック号の方は、オリンピック号と名前を変え。
Interesting. I mean, if they're virtually the same exact ship and they just got swapped, and like, so it's really just like, I mean, how much of a difference does that realistically make? I mean, the real Titanic was renamed the Olympic. Yeah, I mean, like, how important is that? It's basically just a name. If the ships are identical, and the Olympics the one that actually sank, I don't think that really changes that much, because the big event was just the ship sinking in general, so the fact of whether it's ship A or ship B doesn't really change much, I guess.
その後20年以上もの間、現役の客船として活躍し続けたらしい。
あれ？ちょっと待ってください。
And then what? So wait, they used that as a passenger ship for more than 20 years. What was the name of the one 7 mentioned? Because so there's 3 identical, because 7 mentioned one. Was it also called the Olympic? I can't recall, but Junpei's not mentioning the fact that it was used as like a hospital ship, which is what 7 said. I can't remember the name of the one 7 specifically mentioned, but we now have 3 Titanics? Potentially, or it's just 2, and the one 7 mentioned was the same one. I can't quite remember.
それって逆に言うと、1935年頃には現役を引退したってことになりません？
あ、まあ、そうなるな。
その後はどうなったんでしょう？
解体されたらしい。
解体って、だったらどっちにしろ同じじゃないですか？ どっちが本物のタイタニック号だったとしても現存はしていないわけで、一隻は現役を引退して解体され、もう一隻は呪いのせいで海の木図と化した。だったらやっぱりこの船は。
待て、今なんて言った？もう一隻は何のせいで海の木図と化したって？
Yeah, I was about to ask that. What are you talking about? Curse?
呪いのせいです。
なんだよ、呪いって。
呪いは呪いですよ。エジプトのミイラの呪いのことです。
Okay, yeah, you did mention this before.
タイタニックにはピラミッドの中から盗掘されたアモンラ神殿の王女のミイラが積まれてたそうなんです。そのミイラが曰くつきで。
Okay, I think this we have heard before. I think this particular part we have. This is basically a recap of that, just with different context, because Junpei said something different.
関わった人たちは次から次へと謎の死を遂げていったと、ほらよく言うじゃないですか。
This is actually really interesting because I'm playing I've played something else, and there's another tie to another Egyptian relic that had basically the same thing going on.
墓を暴く者には災いがもたらされるであろうとかなんとか、あれですよ。
I guess this is good to see just as like a refresher, even if we have
そ
seen
の
it.
ミイラのせいでタイタニックは沈んだと？
そうです。
バカバカしい。そんなことあるわけねえだろうが。
あります。
Yeah, I distinctly remember this
なんで
dialogue.
断言？
Okay, here's more. So yeah, the talk about the mummy, I think that was pretty much identical to what we saw previously, so that I didn't need to show, but there was a little bit difference there with the thing Junpei said. On the flowchart now, it has like an open icon. So I'm not sure if I'm like done yet or not, but we're going to see the alternate choices anyway. Hey, come on, it's not like that.
そんなんじゃねえよ。
So I just checked for her fever because I was like, do you still have a fever?
俊平くん、あの頃と何も変わらないですね。ところで俊平くん、俊平くんはなんでこんなところにいるんですか？
なんでって、みんながいるときに話しただろ？
夜家に帰るとガスマスクの男がいた。白い煙を吸い込んで意識を失った。気がつくと D デッキの船室に。
I don't even know if anything's changing from this decision.
そうだ。
でもそれって本当なんですか？
は？
俊平くん、私に何か隠し事してません？
してねえよ。なんでだよ。
Getting refreshed on these things feels important for however this ending is going to change anyway, so I will skip some of it if I'm like, this is definitely something we've seen, but I want to be careful to not miss any important details that are clearly influencing this ending I'm going to get. There's this quote again: look for what connects the victims. That will lead you to the culprit. And this is June talking about, basically June hopped into talking about like how many people she's dated. She's like, I've dated 18 people times 0. I guess I haven't found Mr. Right yet. Blah blah blah. Why would two childhood friends show up on the same boat together? There's definitely more that we're clearly going to have to connect here. I've thought about some things potentially. I remember there being a school that we mentioned that like that was mentioned at some point. It was like, I remember having the idea that we're like all of us connected to this school in some way. But I don't really know how that would potentially happen. Maybe we'll get some more context for that, but we have to keep in our mind like specifically what connects everyone. Obviously me and June, our connection, you know, makes sense. And Seven and Lotus have a connection in that Seven came here to investigate the children being kidnapped and saw that Lotus's daughter was here. So that is a connection between those two. Obviously Clover and Snake are apparently related. Ace is kind of weird and up in the air, same with Santa. We don't know a ton about them.
確かセブンさんが、
ああ。
だから要するにやっぱり 同級生の誰かが関係してるんじゃない？
Yeah, okay, this is the part where they talk about the school. I think this must all have something to do with a
心当た
classmate.
りでも。
いいえ、
なんだ
他に学校の関係者って言ったら。
用務員の。
Yeah, okay. So that's just a conversation about that again. Just reminding us of that. Okay. So this is the part where Santa says, I forgot this detail about Santa, he hates clovers and what they stand for. Hope, faith, love, and luck. Or what each one stands for. And we take this and we can give it to Clover later. So maybe this is the thing that's important, because I think I remember giving Clover the bookmark. And that is like a way I guess I influenced her, potentially. So maybe this is it. Maybe she doesn't want that bookmark? Don't take it.
悪いが俺もいらないよ。
So this is going to be slightly new.
なんかそういうの男からもらうのもキモいし。
What? Fuck off, Junpei. what a weird thing. What a weird thing to say.
まあ、それもそうだね。
No, it's not. Give me all the gifts. Give me all the gifts, damn it. Oh my god.
だったら無理にとは言わないが。
Can give gifts. You can give gifts between two guys. Hell, you can do a lot of things between two guys. A lot of things that I don't need to potentially go into here, but the idea that you can't give other guys gifts is just like, you know, very weird. Very weird. But this game is older, so that's you know, it makes sense given the time a little bit more than it does today, even if it was stupid back then too.
本当にいらないんだな。
You're insisting, and we can still say we don't want it. Sure you don't want it? I don't want it.
まあ、いらないよ。ヤシロにでもやったらどうなんだ？
なるほど、そうするか。おい、ババア !40 代のお前にふさわしいアイテムが見つかったぞ
Oh my god. You were gonna get your ass beat.
まあ、聞かなかったことにしておこう。
Everybody's so mean to Lotus about her age. Okay. And now it's changed. So it's gotta be that. It's gotta be that. It's gotta be that then. Okay, so now it looks more like how it was before. Interesting, interesting. So, yeah, because I turned that down, we screwed some things up. But this one is still open, but these are locked. So yeah, it's let me go back in and take it this time.
これ
Maybe I
なんと
stop let's see, currently it's on
信頼
stop. We can
幸運
skip. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. So don't take it. Actually, I'll take it. So now I want to disable that.
やっぱりもらっておこうかな。
So I guess this changes things slightly.
なんでだ
Yeah, I'm indecisive, sorry.
ほらよ。
あ
ふう、すっきりしたぜ。なんか厄介ば。
そんなに嫌いなのかよ。
ああ。
Okay, I think
ど
it's
れも裏切る
all...
もん希望な。
I think it's all the
四つ葉
same
のクローバー
now.
が嫌いな理由だよ。4、アホ興味小学生でもいない。スピリチュアル
Okay.
なんとかにハマ
Yeah,
ってるロハスの
this is
せい
pretty much just the same stuff now. Oh, wait. You mean like the stock market? Wait a second. You mean like the stock market?
株式の
ちげえよ。何すっとぼけたこと言ってんだ。まあ確かに株式の方の株もやらないこともねえが。
お前が株を
おう。なんか文句でもあんのか
I could see Santa being like a day trader.
あいや、ちょっと意外だったからついな。
あんなもんただのギャンブルだ。
Pretty much, yeah. There's safer bets than gambling. Like there's ways to be a little bit safer with your money even in the stock market compared to gambling. Gambling's basically like, yeah, there's a very, very, very high chance you're always going to lose. I would say stocks are like a little bit safer. If you're doing like the really risky ones and playing stupid, then yeah, but I don't know, if you invest a bunch of your money in like ETFs or something, you're a little bit more comfy. There's safe stocks.
勝ち馬にかけりゃそれでいい。難しいことなんて何もないぜ。
やけに自信たっぷりな言い方だな。それで勝ってんのかよ。
もちろんだ。数年前にクレイドル製薬の株価がバカみたいに高騰したことがあっただろ。
Interesting. We're talking about Cradle.
あん時鼻血が出るくらいに儲けさせてもらってな。
ちょっとあんたたち、いつまで無駄話なんかしてる暇ないでしょ。
Yeah, no, we are screwing around.
だそうだ。あの女の逆鱗に触れる前に別の意味で鼻血を。
That's funny considering the other route we just saw.
わかったよ。動けばいいんだろ、動けば。
Yeah, listen to Lotus. Now is not the time to sit here and talk about your stock portfolio, you two dumbasses. Alright. Now it's unlocked. So yeah, we need the bookmark. We need the bookmark. Noted. This already says it's unlocked. So I don't think I have to influence anything here, actually. So I will leave that one. There might be some new routes, but let's leave that one since now it's unlocked. And now we just need to unlock these. So this has 2. Okay, so it shows you how many triggers there are in each one. So there's 2 here that I have to change my decision on. This is a very friendly map, I gotta say. Like, this is incredibly nice. The way it clearly marks things. Like, it didn't have an explanation for them, so I did need to be explained on that a little bit. But the way it clearly marks things is quite friendly. Alright, operating room. The chemical closet and before the door. Whoops. Did not mean to do that.
どうしたんだ？
四つ葉がいね
え？たくな。セブン。
え。うわ。
I need to go back actually.
早く行くぞ。
Because this is the second choice, and it probably depends on the first choice being correct too. So I don't know what I can actually do here. Come on, let's get out of here.
何して。そんなにジョン君と別れるのが名残惜しないよ。ツーバ聞いてん。
お兄ちゃん、
Yeah.
いなくなるとしたら次に。
Yeah, that's all true. What do you want to do? Gave her the 4-leaf clover, tell Clover they needed to leave. Okay, so I'm going to try giving you the 4-leaf clover since we've already seen this path and see if that changes something. So this is what I did last time, but let's see if it actually makes a difference at all. Okay. Wow, they really go. They're talking about the experimentation. This is the ship of Theseus thing, and the socks, and all of that. So, yeah, let's just make a bunch of the same decisions just to see exactly what happens here. Alright, and then there's 7 coming in to stop us. Alright. We're good. Okay, so yeah, giving the 4-leaf clover, that is right. I did do that right, so I must have screwed up in some other path. Okay, it is back on stop. Cool.
ああ、そうだな。
Alright.
おい、どうしたんだよ、セブン。
Oh, this is when 7 gets his memory back.
それ、
ちょっと気になる。EDT。
何の薬だ？
医薬品じゃねえ。確か。
Oh,
工業用の
yeah.
清浄剤か何かだったはずだ。
Okay, the
どう
detergent.
してそんなものがここに？
何かを浄化。
何かって。
さあな、俺の頭。
何か思い出したんか？
ああ、思い出したのは、EDT にまつわるこんな話だ。
Let's get a slight refresher on this, since this might be important.
今から半世紀、アメリカのとある工場で EDT の巨大な結晶を作っていた。
Oh, okay, wait, no, I remember this. This is the crystal. They got them to grow in one area, and then all of a sudden, everywhere it started growing after that. So this is more morphogenic frequency stuff. I recall this now.
目的はさっきも言ったが、ところ。その工場がタンクの中で生成していた
Uh-huh. Water, yeah, they made them into a sort of mutation of background crystals called a
こうなって
hydrate.
しまうと、工場はできた結晶を廃棄処分に
Okay,
せ
so
ざるを
we
得なかった。
we know this. Let's skip ahead. Let's just see what we need to see here. Know something about it, know something about Ice 9. So we specifically mention Ice 9. Which potentially links to the thing that June mentioned as well, because it was mentioning the mummy being covered in like, you know, like frozen in ice that didn't melt even when hiking across the desert or whatever. So, know about Ice
ア
Nine?
イスナインのこと知ってるのか？
アイスナイン、アイスナイン、アイスナイン、アイス、アイス。そうだ、思い出したぜ。この船にはあの少女がいるんだ。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So this is the moment where I screwed up on this path. I would have been on the good path, but I said know something about it instead of know something about Ice 9. Jogging 7's memory is important here.
あの少女？
アリスのことだよ。
Okay, Alice, we have a book about Alice. Okay. That's important. That's important. And then yeah, the book also mentioned Alice with 2 L's. Okay.
アリスって誰だよ？
だから常温でも溶けない凍りついたあの少女のことだ。
Okay. So, yeah, we're definitely linking to the mummy shit now.
は
1912年4月15日の未明。
Okay, so this
タ
is
イタニッ
why
ク号が沈没したことは知ってるよな。
it's very good that I got a refresher on the mummy stuff. Because, yeah, we've talked about Ice 9, we've talked about the mummy, we've talked about now Ship of Theseus and stuff, and gave the Clover bookmark to Clover. And yeah, all of it's starting to come together a little bit.
ああ。犠牲者の数は1500名以上。史上最悪の海難事故だ。それがどうかしたのか？
遺体を回収した船のことは。
No. Is this where you're going to mention the boat you mentioned later?
確か、カルパチア号じゃなかったかな。タイタニック号と同じ、イギリス船籍の客船だったと思うが。
違う。そいつは生存者を救出した船のことだ。遺体を回収した船はマッケイ・ベネット号という。
God, we're dropping so many ship names. Jeez. And not the kind of ship names that I'm used to.
ベネット号は事故発生から2日後の4月17日。カナダのハリファクスにある港を出港し、現場海域において306人の遺体を収容した。
I don't even know if this was the one that Seven mentions later or not.
そこは氷山の漂う極寒の海原。当然のごとく引き上げられた遺体はガチガチに凍りついていたという。
あまり気分のいい話じゃないな。それで
Yeah. Are you gonna start talking to me about whether what did Leonardo DiCaprio could have fit on the door with the lady and stuff? Or are you gonna go into those theories? Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the bodies.
ベネット号が引き上げたのは何も遺体だけじゃなかった。洋上に浮かんだ数々の遺品も回収したと言われている。
Or stuff that dislodged as the ship sank.
その中に一機の棺があった。
Okay. We are straight up going into the territory of cursed mummy shit. We're getting there. We are approaching. This just reminds me of the big thing. What was the big thing on the internet? The meme where it was like the sludge from the coffin and people were like drink it or something. We're approaching that territory.
棺？
そう、棺だ。おそらく腕の立つ職人が作ったんだろう。
Okay, yeah, this clearly has to do with mummy shit and Ice 9.
組木細工のような構造をしていたその棺は一本の釘も使われていなかったにもかかわらず、少しの隙間もなくびっちりと密閉されていたらしい。
That's just impressive. I mean, also weird for an Egyptian coffin to be wood. I guess I've always been led to believe that coffins and like sarcophagi from then would have been stone.
船員たちは気になってその棺を開けてみることにした。くさびを打ち込んで無理やりこじ開けたんだ。すると中に収められていたのは 一人の少女の亡骸だった。
Okay, this lines up with how I would expect.
あでやかな黒髪、みずみずしく潤いをまとった褐色の肌、気品漂うその顔立ちはまるで女神のように美しかったという。彼女は眠るように死んでいた。今にも起き上がってきそうなほど血色のいい艶やかな肌をしていた。だが彼女が目覚めることはなかった。他の犠牲者たちと同じように彼女の体は冷たく凍りついていたんだ。やがて捜索を終えたベネット号は母港であるハリファクスの港へと戻った。次々と陸揚げされていく306体の遺体。春のうららかな日差しを浴びて、その頃にはもう凍っていた遺体はぐずぐずと溶け出していた。中には腐臭を放ち始めていたものもあったとか。ところが一体だけ凍りついたままの綺麗な遺体が存在した。
Okay, we're tangling with ancient with ancient people that don't thaw now. Oh, we're getting places.
それが
We're getting places. This just sounds like an SMT demon at this point.
棺の中に収められていた少女だったと。
そうだ。最初は誰もが思った。ほんの 2,3 日もすれば彼女の体も腐り始めるだろうと。だが1週間経っても2週間経っても1月が経ち2月が経ち、季節はすでに夏。それでもなお凍ったままの彼女の姿はやがて人々から奇跡と呼ばれるようになった。噂は噂を呼んで瞬く間に広がり、奇跡の少女を一目見ようと大勢の人々がハリファクスの港へと押し寄せることになった。
Honestly, if this had been a like Christian Europe was so obsessed with the idea of relics and things like that, this would have been a huge deal in Europe if it was a white Christian, quite frankly, because they were obsessed with those things. Of course, they hated anything that wasn't like them, but Christian Europe being obsessed with like you know shit like, oh, come take a pilgrimage to this church because we have like the left testicle of Christ and the right fingernail of Saul and shit. Like there's very, very much historical precedent for these kinds of weird things. Obviously, like a lot of those are overblown and fake, and at least in this you know game's world, this is seemingly a real thing that does exist. But it is super funny to think about things like this actually really existing in the world at various times, like people saying they have a lock of, you know, Samson's hair or Isaac's whatever in things. It was such a huge part of Christian Europe. It's so interesting. Sorry, I'm getting on my stupid history tangent. I'll stop. I'll quit. I could talk for days.
そんな中、誰からともなく彼女の
Oh my god!
こんな風に呼び始めた。
That's why it's all ice. That's why there's 2 L's. It's not Alice, it's all ice. Okay. Okay. That's wild.
オールアイス。だが、その噂も長くは続かなかった。
どうして？
消えちまったんだよ。アリスの姿が忽然と。何者かが倉庫に忍び込んでアリスの遺体を持ち去ったらしい。姿が消えれば噂も消える。次第に彼女のことは忘れ去られていき、今では当時の新聞にその名残をわずかに留めるばかりだ。
So how do like a lot of the people on this ship know? Is that what connects all of us? All of us are connected to All Ice / Alice in some way? How do we know about these things? Because even 7, being like one of the more knowing people, you know, at least would be if he had all of his memory. Like, it still seems a wild stretch for him to even know about this.
待ってくれ。お前はさっきこの船にはあの少女がいるって。
ああ、言ったな。アリスは間違いなくこの船のどこかにいるはずだ。
なぜ？
俺は知ってるからだ。
何を？
その後アリスがどうなったのかを。
聞かせてくれ。どうなったんだ？アリスは。
当時ニューヨークには世界中の富豪たちが集まるブラックマーケットがあったと言われている。
Ah, sold to the rich. Well, wouldn't be the first time priceless historical artifacts and incredibly interesting cultural things and documents were sold to the rich or put in, like, the British Museum.
そこのオークションでアリスは競売にかけられたんだ。落札した人物の名はサーデュエフ・ゴルダイン。
I feel like I've seen this name before.
聞いたことのある名前だろう。
ゴルダイン卿。タイタニック号の姉妹船。ギガント号を買い取った人物か。
That was the name of the ship that Seven mentioned earlier. So there are three. There are three. There's the Gigantic. There's the one that's like a straight up exact copy that June mentioned. So there are three, because that was not the name that June gave. I don't think, God, there's so many names being tossed around, it's hard to fit them all in my head and keep them straight. It is hard to keep them straight. This is like one of those perfect games that would be, especially since it was on the DS actually, it would have been super cool if they had like a notes app. Like, they have the calculator, but it would have been super cool for them to have, like, a little thing down here where you can draw notes for yourself. That would have been super fun. I've seen that in other games before, specifically puzzle games. That would have been a great addition to this. Because we have this, but, you know, we don't have something like that. It would have worked so well for the screen, too.
その通り。ま、時系列的には逆になるんだがな。
Okay, so we're saying Alice is on this ship. We think the ship is the Gigantic, so yeah, your ancestor or something is a potential of the one running this.
というと？
ゴルダイン卿は1912年にアリスを手に入れてから、その4年後の1916年にギガントを買い取ったんだ。
Are we gonna find out that your ancestors are like the current owners and leaders of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
そしてギガントのどこかにアリスを隠した。それがどこなのかはわからん。彼は1931年にこの世を去っている。アリスの隠し場所を誰にも告げぬままくたばっちまったのさ。
I would feel like it would be very hard to hide a cruise liner of all things, but if you have money and the ability to go many places in the world, I mean, it's wild to think about, but there's still places in the world that are unexplored. I don't know about, like, on the ocean. I don't know enough about to say, like, we've 100% charted every single bit of the ocean. Someone's been there before, etc., etc., but at the very least, some land, there's places people haven't touched, or haven't touched for many, many hundreds or thousands of years.
ただ、
なんだ？
ゴルダイン卿の側近が一度だけ訪ねたことがあるそうだ。アリスはどこに？すると彼はこう答えたという。
Well, obviously Alice is in Wonderland.
ギガントのへその下。知識の森を抜けた小部屋にアリスは眠っている。
How extremely cryptic of you. Past the forest of knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic. The forest of knowledge, not the garden of knowledge, because I was wondering if we were going biblical here with Adam and Eve and the fruit of knowledge, but I think that's the garden of knowledge, not the forest.
なんだそりゃ？暗号か？
さあな。
Forest of knowledge would make me think like a library or something, but I don't think there was a library on this ship. A library to me makes the most sense as being like a forest of knowledge.
とにかくそんなわけで俺は確信してるんだよ。
Maybe the cryptic stuff is getting to me, but it's like, wow, a library being a forest of knowledge makes even more sense, because it's like a forest has trees of differing ages, and some of them are really big and grow and have like knowledge, and you know, like they get bigger, and it's the same thing in a library. You have like old books and then you have like new books, and it's like an entire forest of knowledge collected, where some is older, some is newer, etc., etc. I'm just saying stupid shit, I'm sorry.
ギガントのどこかに、つまり
It's hidden somewhere on this ship.
ちょっと、二人とも何やってんのよ。
Hey, we're doing more important stuff than talking about our stock portfolio, I promise.
そんなところでだべってないで。はい。
いや、わかったわかった。すぐに。
たくも。
とにかくそういう今話したこと、いずれ役に立つ。
アリスか。
Yeah, that might be useful someday.
その王女のミイラは普通のミイラじゃなかったんですよ。彼女、凍ってたみたいなんです。発見された時からタイタニックに積み込まれるまでずっと。凍りついたその体は砂漠の上を運ばれている時でさえ決して溶けることはなかったと言われています。
そのエジプトの王女がアリス？体内にある 60% の水分がすべてアイスナインでできていた。
Yeah, I mean, that's wild. Also, didn't we... I can't remember the details of the Ice 9 conversation specifically, but that wasn't something that happened later, right? I don't think so. I remember the morphogenic frequencies conversation coming up a little bit in relation to Ice 9, but I can't remember exactly if it was like a phenomena that happened recently. Because we have the thing with like the EDT that Seven just talked about. That was more of like a recent thing. But if she's been frozen since, you know, when she originally died, this would have to be something that originated way back then.
バカバカしい。そんな人間いるわけないじゃないか。
Yeah, no way, Junpei. Alright. So those are both open now. I kind of want to finish this train of thought before I finish the episode, so I guess we're going to continue down these two however long it takes. This might make the video late, but you know, I can't go to another day and be expected to remember these things. Pocket watch.
懐中時計か。ちょっと見せてもらえるかな。
Ah, I see. I was rude to Ace, and that's what set me here. But we got to see you crack your mask a little bit. We got to see it crack.
おいおい。なんで
ちょっと様子。
Yeah, there is. Well, not a problem, but...
別に行けないってわけじゃないが。嘘だ。本当は一宮にいてもらうと困る。この部屋の探索を始めるとき、一宮を操舵室へと追いやったのと同じ理由だ。
Yeah?
俺は四つ葉と二人きりで話がしたかった。どうしても四つ葉に聞いておきたいことがあった。それを誰かに聞かれるのはまずい。
Ooh.
というか、別の誰かがいたら、きっと四つ葉は何も話してくれないだろう。
Okay, this is a moment where we're going to potentially get on Clover's good side.
だから本当は、一宮には早く出て行ってもらいたかった。
And if I'm just a huge asshole to you, that doesn't work because you do some mind control on me and just come back in anyway, and that whole thing was weird to me.
あは、なるほどな。そういうことか。
That's God, that voice creeps me out so much. Like honestly, the VA does a good job of coming off incredibly creepy.
邪魔をしてすまなかったな。ま、うまくやりたまえ。
Well, it kind of plays out the same either way, but I'm guessing maybe... It seems like it plays out the same either way, but I'm guessing because I didn't have that conversation with Seven, that didn't work out, basically. Like, Junpei didn't have the idea to talk to Clover, so it doesn't actually matter how I reacted to Ace. Ace has the same reaction either way.
なんなの？さっきからチラチラこっち見て。
ああ、いや、違うんだ。そういうんじゃなくて。
そういうんじゃないなら、 何なのよ。
俺はただ、あの話の続きが聞きたかっただけなんだ。これまでずっと、聞くタイミングがなかったから。
あの話って？
実験の話だよ。手術室で聞かせてくれただろ？
Yeah, because she did start talking about an experiment, yes. And that was the whole lock sock conversation and stuff.
今から9年前に、この船で実験が行われたとかなんとかって。
Yeah, you started to talk about it, but okay, so we're getting more context for the experiment.
悪いけど、今はその話、したくないの。する気分じゃないっていうか。わかるでしょ？今はお兄ちゃんのことで、頭がいっぱいなんだよ。誰がお兄ちゃんを。あんな目に、合わせたのか。
I am wondering if, like, was it really Santa and Seven that did that? Like, quite frankly, I could see Santa doing it, legitimately, but I don't know, I kind of liked Seven / trusted Seven a little bit more than some of the other people, which is a massive mistake, mind. But just how the character is played, and specifically the amnesia that he's going through, I trusted him a little bit more than a lot of the other characters, like Ace and June and a lot of people, frankly. He seemed like less of a threat, but maybe that was the intention, I suppose, and I fell for it.
許せない。絶対に許せない。必ず復讐してやる。そう誓ったの。だから、ねえ、順平は誰が犯人だと思う？
仮に、セブンの言ってたことが確かだとするなら、犯人は2人以上ってことになる。
Okay, we're diving into it. I mean, I kinda did a little bit of this math earlier, but it seems like the game is going to take us on a guided tour of the math to come to a conclusion.
ニルスを加えて、3人以上じゃなければ、ナンバリングドアは開けないからだ。
Is there at least two other people?
そ
Yeah.
うだね。ってことは？
それぞれのバングルナンバーを考えれば、おのずと答えは見えてくるだろう。
Yeah.
ニルスと共に、3の扉を開くことができたのは、
Okay.
一
Okay.
体誰と誰か。
I want to do the math a little bit here, just to see if I can come to the conclusion myself before we see. So 3 plus 7, and then it would have been Santa. Or no, Snake is 2. What am I doing? Clear. Santa's not 2. Snake is 2. 2 plus 7 plus, and then, yeah, Santa is 3. Which would put us at 3, which would be the digital route that you could use to go through that door. However, if we check some of the other options, 2 plus 3... I mean, I guess if you're in here, it doesn't really work. I thought I used one where June was an option. 2 plus 6 would be 8. We would need 4. Oh my god, why am I struggling to think of who is 4? Lotus, 7, Clover's 4, my god. Yeah. So, Clover would work. And I think I came to this conclusion before, but I was like, it would be weird for Clover to be the one that specifically killed her brother. Because that works. That is also 3. And I think that's most of the configuration we can use. Because if we do 2 plus 8, we would need 2 to make it 3. Yeah, if we do 2 plus 8, that wouldn't work. Yeah. We would need another 2, basically. Or... yeah, we do 7 and that whole thing. Now let's think The potential of using bracelets from people that have already died. So 2 plus 1 plus 0 would be an option if Ace somehow had 0, but that's not happened at this point, so that's impossible. If we clear that, 2 plus 9... 2 plus 9, 11 plus 1. 3. Okay. So it could be Ace. It could be. You killed 7 and Santa in June, but I think it's Ace. I think it's Ace. It's been Ace this whole time. You little shit. I knew I didn't trust that bastard. And Ace, I think, goes through the door with the body every single time, so we know Ace has the bracelet. Yeah, 2 plus 9 plus 1. Okay, I think Ace. I think Ace. I wanted to cook on that before the game, you know, just told me, basically.
あるいは誰と誰と誰か、もしくは誰と誰と誰と誰か。
I mean, there could also be a situation where, like, 4 people did it, or 3 people did it instead of 2, but I'm really thinking it's the Ace route. We know he has 9.
犯人が4人もいるってこと？
可能性としてはないこともない。
うん。どうだろう。私はその可能性は低いと思うけどな。
That would be very hard to make the math work, yeah.
どうして？
後で教えてあげるよ。とりあえず今は犯人が2人だったとして考えてみる。
I want to assume it was one other person.
ああ、わかった。いいだろう。
If it was Ace, though, like... If it was Ace, how did he convince... He would have had to reveal that you can use the bracelets even if the person's dead. He would have had to reveal that to Snake, and I'm like, why would Snake trust that?
だとすると犯人は誰と誰だと思う？
Which 2 bracelet numbers added to 2 would give a digital root of 3? Damn it, there's no option for the 9th man. There's no option for the 9th man. There's no option. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on, but that's not going to work. Like, I did do this right. Like, I'm doubting myself now. 1 plus 9 plus 2. Yeah, 3. Because there's various other ones listed here, but none of those really work. Santa and June wouldn't work. It had to be Santa and 7. I think that's the only one on here that works. Ace and June? No. Ace and 7? No. Ace and Lotus? No, that would be 11, right? 9, yeah, 2, yeah, that would be 11. Santa and June, 3 plus 6, 9 plus 2, 11. Santa and 7, that works. Santa and Lotus. 3, wait a second. 3 plus 8, 11 plus 2, 13. That does work. I'm not mathing wrong. 3 plus 8 plus 2. Oh wait, my god, I am mathing wrong. Fuck me. I'm super mathing wrong. I'm super mathing wrong, because yeah, 11, wait. Yeah, 3 plus 1, yeah, okay, yeah, mathing wrong. Don't worry about it, I'm a fool, don't worry about it. June and 7 definitely does not work, that's way too much. June and Lotus also doesn't work too much. 7 and Lotus. 7, say 8, 15, yeah, that's way too much. So yeah, it has to be Santa and 7, that's the only possible option. Although I still think it's Ace.
サンタのセブンか。ミルス、サンタ、 セブンだと数時間は。
Like, this feels like a setup, like this is engineered by Ace to make us come to this as the logical conclusion. But it still feels weird because I don't think Seven would do it, and also Seven's the one that introduced this idea in the first place. It would be stupid for him to intentionally incriminate himself. Like, that would be incredibly dumb. If he was the one that did it.
まさかそんな。サンダとセブン、この二人が犯人だっていうのか。
No.
どうしたの？
少し考えてみたんだが。
だよね。サンタとセブン、犯人が2人だったとしたら、
No, it's
組み
not.
合わせ以外には考えられない
That's
し。
not the only combination that works, but they don't have the knowledge that you can use the bracelets.
なあ、ちょっと待ってくれ。断定するのはまだ早いんじゃないか。俺はただその二人だったら3の扉を開けると言っただけで、もしかしたら別の可能性も。
何？別の可能性って。
それは
Come on, Junpei.
もしかして犯人は3人、もしくは4人じゃないかって。だとしたらさっきも言ったけど、
どうして？
手帳とペン貸してもらえる？
ああ。
Okay, we're getting a full breakdown of all of that.
犯人が3人、もしくは4人だった場合の組み合わせ。
Mm-hmm.
この8通りしかありえないんだ。
なるほど。
ところで順平、
ん？
私順平のこと信じてもいいんだよね。
当たり前だろ。何言ってんだよ。
本当に？
ああ。
それじゃあこの式のうち B、D、G、H は消しても
いいに決まってるだろ。消してくれ。それからもちろん4粒の番号4が含まれてるやつもな。
I mean, I still don't 100% think that like there's not a it's not absolutely sure that Clover wouldn't kill her own brother. I'm just saying, like we don't know that positively.
そうすると残るのは
A と E だ。
Okay, so Snake plus Ace. So yeah, I didn't even go down this line of thinking because I was so sure it was the Ace route, but Ace, Santa, and June be 12, and Ace, Santa, and 7, and Lotus. That's so many people, though. That would have effectively meant they were just leaving June, me, and Clover behind.
いや待て。A はありえない。
どうして？
紫が含まれてるからだよ。
It could be June. I'm sorry, Junpei. It could be. Oh, sorry. I didn't know you had another line.
信用できる？
ああ。命をかけて保証してやるよ。
わかった。それじゃあ A も消えるよね。
消えるな。
そうするとどうなる？
E だけが残るな。
これってどういうことかわかる？
It would be most of them. Yeah, that's what it means.
俺と四つ葉と紫。この3人以外の全員が共犯ってことになるな。
ありえると思う。4人が結託してるんだったらもっと大胆に仕掛けてきてもいいはずでしょ。私たち3人だけに犯行を隠す必要なんてないと思うんだよね。
Yeah, exactly.
まあ確かにそうかもな。
それに一宮とセブンがつるんでるんだとしたら、私と一緒にシャワー室に行った時にいくらでも始末のしようがあったはず。
Yup. I still don't believe Seven would do any of this either.
でも2人は何もしてこなかった。そんな素振りさえ見せなかった。 どうして？
なるほどな。とにかく今の話を聞いて分かったよ。3人もしくは4人が共犯だというのは確かに可能性が低そうだ。
Which leaves only one option.
ってことはやっぱりサンタとセブンの線が濃厚か。
だと思う。
だが動機は何だろう。
動機は
お邪魔だったかな。
Yeah, you have, you little murderous shit.
なんだよ。
You and your dumbass turtleneck.
いや、ちょっと淳平君に話があったね。来てもらえるかい。
言って。
うん。